Welcome to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's in your rest there. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders Hill. I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers. The Rager Young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like GAINTS to stride to the Bird Gang Nation that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk, hitting like B-Dog, baby.
Welcome to another edition of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, Nation, we have a very special guest in the building today. We got New York Giants Rush. The truth is in the building. How you doing today, my guy?
How you doing, buddy? And thank you so much for having me on. This is going to be fun. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, thank you. You know what I'm saying? We had your boy on the other day. He did a great job. Man, I love talking that football with him, man. But the thing with him it was right before the game, you know, that you guys had. So I know you guys probably feeling a little down about that game, but don't worry, guys. We got another one for you guys this weekend. So I just go ahead and let everybody know where you're from, like, you know, about New York Rush, Giants Rush, and what you do for those guys.
Well, I'm originally I'm a New Yorker, so born in Brooklyn, and I moved away when I got older. I'm in Carolina now. I'm a golf pro. But I started writing for about maybe 12 years ago for a place called Football Nation. And then I found New York Giants Rush about 8 years ago. And since then, I've just been exclusively with them. And I just go on Twitter, and I just do my weekly articles. And I have a lot of fun with the guys. And also with the Twitter people. We have a lot of good time.
Yeah, it's fun on Twitter, man. I just started the Twitter world a little bit ago. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy over there. You know, all the social media platforms are all different, but it's all kind of fun as long as you have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't take nothing personal. Just go with the flow, and, you know, talk what you want to talk there. So before we get into our game, give me your take on what happened to you guys last game.
Well, you know, Giants coming off a bye week, I really expected more. They really were, to me, they might have played the first quarter pretty well, but after that, they just fell apart. And, you know, looking at the game, and they actually had on Twitter one play where three of our wide receivers all ran into each other on patterns. I remember that. I remember that play. I was watching the game. And I'll tell you, it's kind of embarrassing to watch the Giants play this way. I think a lot of us are disappointed. Many people had them going for double digits this year. I had them at 8-9, and boy, I would love to see 8-9 at this point, but that's not going to happen.
Get there, please.
No, it's not going to happen. But you know, it wasn't what we wanted, and you know, the firing of Jason Garrett, I think it had to come. It was well overdue in a lot of our eyes, and we'll see how they do the next 7 games.
Yeah, We shall see, man. That's what I was going to ask you next. Are you surprised about the firing, or did you expect it to come?
Oh no, at NY Rush, we talked about it all the time, and we really weren't a fan of Garrett. Very very bland playbook. Didn't like really open it up for Daniel Jones. Kind of restricted him, like almost like babying him, and it just escalated. I think with him. And to be honest with you, I don't know why couldn't have done this in the bye week. What could he have done differently to keep his job? Really, I mean, um, I, I I would think those 9 games that the Giants had before the bye was enough to see what he could and could not do. So that was kind of confusing why they waited till after the bye week.
Yeah, I was like, man, Gary can't keep a job no more. He for one it's the moment you're hot, and now you got two teams that let you go.
Oh
Man,
yeah, yeah. That's listen, he's well loved by the Giants organization. He's been there as a coach and as a player. Before he came back here as OC. So he's loved and respected by the Giants organization and by the Mara family, no
mhm.
doubt. And I think that's who really got him that job. Was the Maras. So um, I don't know if he thought that he might be able to get that head coaching job if Judge faltered. Sometimes that does happen.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll find another job, and who knows? Maybe he'll go to college. Who knows what he'll do?
The
You
Eagle
know,
fans are sitting here wondering now, is it a good thing or a bad thing they fired him now, because we're so close to the game and now we don't
uh,
know your offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what to expect. Now you got a whole new guy in there. Is it Kitchens? I think it is. You know what I'm saying? Can you
yeah,
give us a little
Freddie
take of
Kitchens.
what kind of offense you think Kitchens is going to bring us?
Well, I think based on when he took over briefly for Garrett and when he was with the Browns, he went a little more vertical, stretched the field a little bit, and I think that's gonna play into Jones' strengths. Jones is pretty accurate on long passes based on his career so far, and I think that's what you might see. I think you're going to see him be a little more unpredictable. You're going to see him be more vertical, and hopefully that will help Daniel Jones and the
Mhm.
Giants.
What is your take on Daniel Jones? Because around the league, a lot of people think that he's not the guy. You know what I'm saying? You guys need to get a new quarterback. As long as you guys have this quarterback, you guys are probably going to be struggling. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's very tough to evaluate Daniel Jones when you have an offensive line that's constantly revolving with the personnel, and then you don't have a healthy team around him. And I know injuries is part of the game, and listen, we all have them. Your team gets
We
them,
know
our
about
team
those
gets
injuries
them.
on this side for sure.
That's right, and it's going to happen. And unfortunately for Daniel Jones, it seems like they come in bunches. It's one thing losing one of your wide receivers, but when you lose a few of them, and then you lose your star running back, uh, on top of a very poor offensive line, it's tough because you feel like you have to do everything yourself. You feel like you have to put the whole team on your back, and I don't think that's what Jones is all about. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be Russell Wilson. He's not going to be elite. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he could be better, and I think right now, what are the Giants' options really? I mean, they're not going to make a trade. There's speculation Russell Wilson, but he's going to make over so much money in cap space, and the Giants are limited in that. Historically, the Giants don't make those kind of moves where they mortgage their future for a quarterback. The draft this year doesn't have the elite quarterbacks they've had in the past. There are a few good players. Yes, there are. I just don't know if the Giants want to take that route. So they still have time for Daniel Jones. They still can bring him back next year before they make a decision. So I'm still on his side. I'm still pulling for the guy.
Nice. Do you think it's more because your star running back hasn't really been on the field and Saquon too? 'Cause that's what really takes the pressure off young
Oh,
quarterbacks is having that stud back. I'm pretty sure when he got drafted, he's like, oh man, I got Saquon Barkley, man. I don't have to do everything, you know. And when Saquon really not being on the field that much, that probably messed up a lot of it, you know. And people just see, you know, all the receivers that you guys got. You know, you got the Gallaudays, you got
Shepard.
Kadarius Tony, Slayton. You know, these are some receivers out there that should be making some plays right now. And as of
Yeah.
late, they haven't really panned out. What's your take on the receiving core that you guys got?
Well, I like them. You know, on paper, when we had starting the year, when we had the roster. Look at the roster; looked pretty darn good. I mean, you had Galladay, you had Shepard, you had Slayton, Slayton who's coming off a really good rookie year. A little bit of a 2 steps back last year. I think the injury hurt him a little bit, but I think the problem with this wide receiver core is that they really haven't had enough time to stay healthy to really give you a few games in a row to see what they can do. They kind of shined a little bit collectively when we beat the Saints.
Mhm.
And I just think that if they can stay healthy, same with even Barkley, stay healthy, and get a rhythm going and get a little bit of timing down. I think you'll see a little bit better production from these guys.
Yeah, yeah, that offensive line, man, it's been banged up. To
Yeah.
needless to say, um, what do you think the Giants are going to have to do this week to go, toe to toe with our defensive line? We got some good boys in front.
Oh, sure do. I think that it's going to be a challenge, guys. Listen. Right now, the Giants are really going, a next man standing kind of thing with their offensive line, and um, I know the Eagles are going to have some talent up front, and they're going to bring it. You know that. Going to bring it. When
Mhm.
Giants and Eagles play, I don't care the level of talent. It's always going to be a physical game. It's going to be high intensity when two rivals play. Let's be
Yeah,
real. You
that is
know,
facts.
yeah, that's fact. No matter what, they could be 0-10, both of them, and it will be a great emotional, physical game. And that's what you're going to see this week. You're going to see a high intensity, a lot of pushing after the tackles, a lot of hitting. The Giants are going to have their line is going to be. They're going to do a great job to not only help Jones, but to open up some running lanes because you got to run the ball. You can't just throw the ball 50 times a game. So it's going to be a
And,
challenge.
and even talking about that, I've heard some content creators on the Giants side say they'd rather see Booker get more carries right now. He seemed to be more of the hot back, and they think that maybe Saquon's not going to be that guy
Whoa, I
anymore.
don't know.
Saquon was the man before he started taking these injuries, but that went even farther than just that. Coming out of college, 'cause we got Miles Sanders from the same college.
That's right.
Miles didn't have that much tread on his tire when we got him. Saquon was getting like 300 carries a game in college. You know what I'm saying? He took a lot of punishment there. And it was just a matter of time in the NFL before that punishment, I feel like, started to kick in with him. Do you think that's one of the reasons why Saquon hasn't lived up and he's been hurt so much? And do you think that Saquon can take it to that next level again?
Well, when he came in, he had a pretty darn good rookie year.
Oh, yeah.
2,000 total yards, which is pretty phenomenal. But I do think that injury that he sustained the second career year against the Bears, that really started the trend, and then this freak injury he got against the Cowboys when he stepped on someone's foot. I mean,
Yeah, I seen
you
that one.
know, uh, a guy who's built like Adonis. He's
Yeah,
just
Mack truck.
yeah, and you wonder why he gets hurt like this, freakish injuries. But getting back to your earlier question with Booker, Booker had a really good game against the I think it was who was that they beat last the Raiders, right? It was the Raiders, yeah.
Mhm.
He had a good game, he really did. But he's not the back that Barkley is. We all know that, but the Giants really need Barkley to show some kind of Barkley from his rookie year. This next 7 games, he really needs to do something. And I have no problem with Booker getting some snaps because I think it's going to only help Barkley keep out of the injury bug. So hopefully the offensive line can block for them and they both can do well as a tandem and get some yardage for us because we're going to need some ground game. We can't just throw the ball in the air.
Do you think if Barkley goes into next season and say he goes out again with a major injury, would you be ready to just part with Barkley? Because, you know, he's going to start making some of that real cash there. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, you know,
we're kind of dealing with that with a couple players on our side, too. Like we got Brooks, for instance. Brooks has been
yeah.
hurt, has been hurt, has been hurt. He's the best right guard in football when he's on the field, but he has not been on that field for the last 3 years. You know, and that's
That's
just
tough.
keeping it real. Like he just hasn't been there. He's been hurt every single year, and these are some major injuries that he's taken. You know, but when he comes back, he plays great. You know, but it's only so long before he got hurt again. You know, so if he come back for 4 or 5 games, and then it's like it's over again. You know, you gotta wait to see him next season, or you gotta wait to see him at the end of the season. Like he got hurt week 2, and now we thinking he's probably going to be back after the bye week in week 14. So that's week 2 to week 15. You know what I'm saying? That's 13 weeks of not having him. You know, what happens if Saquon continues that route? You think the Giants should go out into the next draft and try to draft another running back or maybe even get one in the offseason?
Well, I'll tell you, we talked about this on Giants Rush a few weeks back when we had one of the guests on, and we talked about Barkley. And I think this is a rehearsal that he needs to do well these 7 games, the second half of the season, to give the Giants some hope that, let's move on with him. Let's take that step and commit to Barkley. If he really struggles these 7 games, and last week he had 24 yards on 6 carries or 25 yards.
Yeah.
If he struggles the rest of the way, and perhaps maybe gets another minor injury or something that derails him, it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the offseason. To be honest with you, I don't know what they'll do. I can tell you now they're not going to think about a long-term contract
Right.
if he's not producing. I mean, why would you? It's
So what
business,
year is he
right?
in right now?
Well, he got drafted in 2018, so we got 18, 19, 20, 21. So this is 4. Next year is his 5th. I think next year is
If your option.
his option year. So you like to think that they will probably give it to him if he does something this next 7 games. Because look, they did it for Ingram, and Ingram didn't have a really good career up till then either. So I think to buy them time, if he does something this next 7 games, I think they probably will give him that extension, 50-year extension, to give him the more time to make a decision on him.
Nice. Speaking of Ingram, how are you on Ingram? What's your take on Ingram? I kind of like him. I'm not, that's not
Okay.
even no cap. I think if he had a better quarterback, he would be better. But
Okay.
I do like Ingram. Are you a fan of Ingram? Because I do know some Giant fans that don't like him at all too.
Well, listen. I know he's a hardworking kid. I read and hear about that, but I'm not. All due respect, I'm not a big fan of him. I just don't see him as so dimensional as a tight end. I think if you just let him run seam routes all day long, he'd be more successful. Because when he runs straight, that's when his speed really shows. He's not elusive in my mind. I don't see him running great routes. There's always been talk about his hands. He's done better this year. Last year was a horrible year for him for that. And I just think that, for what he was drafted and what everybody expects from him, he's really had a down career so far. And I definitely don't see them bringing him back next year. So hopefully he does find a team and does well, because he does have talent, but maybe the Giants aren't using him right, or they haven't found a way to use him right. So that's my take on Ingram.
Nice. Let's get over to this defense. You guys got a couple of my guys from USC that I like on your defense. The Wildcat, the Big Cat, you know what I'm saying, and Adoree Jackson.
Yes.
Give me your take on your defense. How is that going for you guys this year?
Well, when we start the season out, I would say 99% of the Giant fan base and also the media had the Giants possibly being not only a top 10, but maybe better, because they finished 9th last year as overall Team D. And I certainly thought they'd be right there or better. I was ecstatic when Ojolari got drafted. That guy was a first round talent, and he fell into the second round for reasons. And I think that kid's going to be a bona fide outside linebacker edge for the Giants. I like his game. I like his motor.
Mhm.
I think that's a great. That was a good pick for the Giants. And of course, you talked about Adoree Jackson. He started off shaky a little bit, but he's picked his game up a bit. And he actually made an interception. Did he not last week? Did he have an interception? I thought.
I think he did.
Yeah, so that's great because usually he doesn't get many interceptions. So hopefully he could cement down that CB2 spot for the Giants. But the biggest problem for the Giants defense, to me, and I think anybody who watches the game, is their pass rush.
Yeah.
They're just not getting to the quarterback. I mean, you give quarterbacks an extra second in that pocket to check off their receivers. It's death for the defense. It really is. And you're dealing with these guys like last week, Tom Brady. He just looked like he was having a cup of coffee back there in a lot of offensive plays. And I think that's one thing the Giants really need to focus on is getting a better rush into next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been watching any Eagle games this year so far?
Be honest with you, not many. Mostly highlights. Like I watched the highlights of the game last week against the Saints, and the last 2 weeks they look really good. The Eagles,
Yeah.
Averaging 35 points a game isn't too shabby, and their running game is phenomenal right now. They're running the ball like 150 yards a clip, I believe. So that's something the Giants need to focus on this week because the Giants aren't too good against the run defensively. So that's something that's going to play a big part in this game coming up.
I was going to ask you, think you can stop those boys running the ball this week? Yeah, we're number 2 in the league so far.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, we're at the last 4 games. I know we're averaging 250 yards a game.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I think the overall was like 155, 157, or something like that. So, we're bringing that heat in the run game. Our coach finally realized that we are a physical team and we need to run that rock. And I think that was a big problem why we had so many losses earlier in the season because we weren't running the ball very well.
Yeah.
So I think we got an identity now. We just went against the number 1 rush defense, put up 250 on them. Broncos had a really good run defense. We put up 250 on them. So it's like, we're on attack, and I really feel like with the line that we have, it's not only that they're good, it's just the fact that they're monsters. Like their size kind of takes up for them to still be learning. A lot of them are young, so they're still learning the position, learning the NFL. But their size of these guys is what's really helping these guys, develop at a faster rate. So, to be honest, like it's no slate to nobody. I really find it hard to believe that there'll be any team really to stop this run the rest of our schedule. Like we got great, like we go through so many good run stopping defenses over and over again. It's kind of hard to make that, okay, you're going against at least, at least qualified run stopping defense. How are they going to stop you guys? So right now I'm feeling pretty good to be an Eagles fan. We need these wins. We need to get back in the hunt. And I'm looking forward to, continuing it every week that we go on, man. What would be, it did Jalen Hurts. Have you guys played any mobile quarterbacks this year?
Well, if you look back who the Giants have played, I don't think they played anybody like Jalen Hurts. So they might have some guys who can tuck it a little bit and run, but not like Jalen Hurts. And I think when the Giants for this week, usually when you go against a quarterback, you want to try to flush him out of the pocket and make him make throws that he doesn't want to make, or rush him a little bit. But with Jalen Hurts, that's the opposite you got to do with him.
You want to try to keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, you got to keep him in the pocket and make him think he's Aaron Rodgers. Let him throw the ball in the pocket. Because no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, he'll never be mistaken for Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. But if you let him get outside those tackles, he can make a strong case of being like Lamar Jackson, and he could terrorize your defense with a lot of runs like he did last week. He already had 3 touchdowns and he ran for like 75 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So the Giants are going to have to try to figure out how to keep him in the pocket and let his arm beat him and not his legs and unpredictability when he gets out of that pocket. Because of course he can roll out, and if they commit to him, he could dump it off to a tight end, and you might see a wide open tight end, because people are going to forget about him and worry about Hurts. That's a big possibility. So it's going to be interesting to see what the game plan is going to be against the Eagles.
Yeah, what's really getting at teams is Hurts just, dual threatness. You know what I'm saying? When he's learned how to ride that fake out. You know what I'm saying? So you don't
Yeah,
know if he's going to run it, if he's going to hand it off, and just that instant second, it's giving our linemen
all it
that much
takes.
more time to make the block. And once that happens,
Absolutely.
it's like that's something that's like one of them things like you won't know how to stop it until you're in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even then, you're still not 100% because they had some players. The Saints players were flying up the ball up the field. Some of those plays, and it's like he let it go, and it's like okay, now the back's off. Then he fakes it to the back. The back carries out his play fake, and now he's wide open on the end. You know what I'm saying? It's like is he
Yeah,
playing cat and mouse? Like which way did he go? Which way did he go with Jalen right now? And a lot of people do criticize his passing, but people got to realize he's only 15 games in.
that's
15 games
true.
ever.
That's true.
And if you look at the numbers, he's top 10 number wise in 15 games. So it's like, how do you not, you know, give the guy the credit? We know he needs to develop. He's 23 years old. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
hasn't seen every defense. He hasn't heard every call. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't even probably threw every route yet. So you got to give him that time to develop before you really sit there and say, "Oh, okay, this is a bad quarterback, or he's not a good quarterback, or he's not a great quarterback yet, or he can be elite, or any of that stuff." You got to still give him the time to process, and then you see what you got. After a year, I say I already think he's the guy. I think he's our franchise guy. I'm rocking with him. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand the people that want to wait to the end of the season to see what else he does. You know what I'm saying? See if he's developing. And at the rate he's going right now, man, he's doing a great job at it. Shout out to Philly 500 with a $5 super chat. He says, great show. Everyone make sure to sub my guy up. Heck yeah, go. That's a go to Eagles content right there. Hey, much love to you, my guy. Thanks for coming through. So when Jalen Hurts is on the field, man, he does his thing. I'm saying everybody wants to see that 300-yard game. Everybody wants to see him throw 300-400 yards.
You don't have to
No,
do that to win. You don't have to
you
do
don't
it.
have to do that. I said that from the very jump. Like Jalen Hurts can win an MVP without even throwing 300 yards a game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because if you keep him between a 20 and 25 passes a game, they're going to be efficient 20 and 25 passes. Run the ball. You know what I'm saying? So we're not passing that much lately. We've been running the ball a lot. And by not passing the ball, you know what I'm saying, as much by running the ball more, that's leaving these pass plays that we're getting to be chunks. You know what I'm saying? Devontae
Yep.
Smith's getting 100 yards. It's not off of 10 to 14 receptions. It's off of like 5 to 6 receptions. Because when
Yeah.
you're running the ball effectively, those windows open up and you can chunk them away. So
Absolutely.
Jalen might only throw those 17 yards passes, but he's getting like the 200 yards. He's getting, very good plays out of it in the passing game. So he doesn't need to throw for 300 yards. You
Nope.
look at games like last week where he ran for 3 touchdowns. Like, you got to account for stuff like that. You can't just judge him off his passing and not judge, add in the running, because that's what a dual threat is. A lot of people want to mistake it. A lot of these quarterbacks as dual threats. They're scrambling quarterbacks. That means they got some speed. The play breaks down. They're able to run. Only like guys like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. These are actually dual threat quarterbacks,
Oh
meaning
yeah.
they have
Oh yeah.
running plays set up in the offense for them to take off with the ball. You know what I'm saying? So there's not very many quarterbacks that are got that. You got to use that as your advantage. You got to also understand that that's going to come with some games only being, Jalen throwing the ball 15 to 20 times. You know what I'm saying? But as long as we get that win, that's all that really should matter at the end of the day.
That's exactly right, Ramaz. And I'll tell you this: um, in the off season, Hertz was getting a lot of negativity around the media,
Yeah.
even here, yeah. And he had to really step up to shut a lot of people's mouths. He really did. And right now, he's doing that. He's shutting a lot of guys' mouths right now. He's playing really good football. And like you said, if he continues this, I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of mock drafts are showing Philadelphia getting a quarterback with one of the 3 picks. They may not. If he keeps what he's doing, they may not even think about a quarterback in the first round. They may still get one and later on, maybe on late day 2 and early day 3, but they may use those picks in the first round to get some more talent around them. Who knows what they're going to do? But right now, that's not a given that a quarterback's coming.
Yeah, I think, really, from what he's done so far, you should just stop with the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you want to waste it on a quarter? Give him that time. Like I said, the stuff that you guys are asking him to do comes with time. That's it. The Russell Wilsons, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, all these guys had time to get great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't judge him off 15, 16 games and be like, oh, he should be doing the same thing that such and such is doing. And if you look this year, a lot of those great quarterbacks are throwing interceptions. Jalen only has like 6 turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's huge.
Look at Mahomes. Mahomes is
huge,
double
you know
digits.
What I'm saying? Like, he has less interceptions than a lot of these quarterbacks out there. I want to say even Patty Mahomes is up like close to 20 turnovers this year already. You know what I'm saying? But no one's calling for him to be benched. No one's calling for him to be traded or kicked out. You know what I'm saying? They're just letting him go to play through it, and that's what we got to do with Jalen Hurts. Let him play through the rough spots, In the beginning of the year, a lot of our losses didn't even come from Jalen Hurts. They came from, our coaches being rookies. Our offensive coordinator, being the first-time offensive coordinator, our defense coordinator being the first-time defensive coordinator. These guys had to get adjusted. They came with a plan. They realized their plan did not work the way they wanted it to. And, all of us were calling for their heads. They're like, get them out of here. Get them out of here. They don't know what they're doing. You're running 5 plays. You're not blitzing. You know what I'm saying? You're not putting the players in any kind of good position to succeed. They heard it. The players start coming out publicly with it. And they adjusted, you know what I'm saying? And that was the scary part because we weren't sure if they were going to do it or not. But they have. Over the last 4 weeks, we became the number 2 rushing team in the league. We go 6 weeks without even running the ball. But then, the next 4 weeks, now you're second in the league.
That's pretty good.
They're finding their talents and they're finding their, strengths of their team. So, we got a lot of turnovers on defense. I'd like to see some more sacks, but at the same time, they're growing. So everybody, our offense and our coaching staff are all like fresh and young. You got to let them grow together, you know what I'm saying? And I think over the season, you're starting to see the fruits from that growth, you know what I'm saying? So we see how we end this season, but as right now, I'm thinking they're doing a great job and they just need to stick with it. Maybe blitz a little bit more on defense, but, I would like to see some deep balls, from Hurts, because we've seen him do it before. Last year with Deshaun Jackson, he threw that bomb to Deshaun Jackson. We've seen some with Quez Watkins. I want to see that get incorporated into this offense. But other than that, I think he's doing a great job, man. We got a question for you. You said, what was before the season? What was your record prediction? And has it changed at all?
Oh yeah, it's changed. I had the Giants going 8-9. When I did my preseason picks. Now, it's certainly changed. I have them looking at these last 7 games, and I try to be so as realistic as possible when I look at these games and look at the personnel and what's going on with the Giants right now, because they really don't look like a team based on how they've been playing. If they win 5 games right now, I'd be happy. So to answer that question, my record for them has definitely changed. 3-game difference. I see 5 wins this year now.
He said, "What sweater is you wearing?" It's a jacket. Tell him because you let me know about it.
Okay.
Story.
All right, this is first of all. Let me tell the story. When the Giants won their second Super Bowl, back in 1990. Let me see which way I'm turning. See right here. I got this. I bought this for my son. Okay, so this is pretty old, and it really stays in the closet. He puts it in the closet, and it stays there. But I wore it today for you in your honor. I've only worn it twice, and the other was for Carl Banks when we had him on the show. So that's a story about this jacket I got on.
It's nice. I'm not even a Giants fan. It's nice. I do like the color blue.
Yeah, you do.
So Give me three rookies so far this year that surprised you the most.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start on offense first. Of course, it's going to be Tony. The kid really, he's exciting. He really is. And when he catches the ball, he's like a pinball. I mean, it's really hard to someone to tackle him. He just moves and he's got eyes. A lot of coaches talk about players with eyes in the back of their head. Well,
Mm.
this guy has it. I've seen him. I see him invade tackles with someone coming from behind. I don't know how he saw the guy. So I do like Tony a lot. I think he's got a lot of energy, and I think that's what the Giants need. They really need some kind of guy like that to really wake them up. And hopefully now with Kitchen, I like to see him get more touches. Create plays for him. I would love to see Wildcat with him. I really would. I mean, I can't remember. He was a quarterback.
He had that game where he had what 190,
Yes.
189.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
big game for
yeah,
Tony.
that was phenomenal game. That was his coming out game. That
Yeah.
everybody woke up and said, "Wow, this kid is good," and hopefully we'll see more of that.
Before you go to the next one, did you want Devontae Smith
No,
in the draft?
no, I did not. Nothing against DeVonta Smith. I'm a defensive guy. I've always been. That's just how when I played football, I was defense. I wanted Parsons. I wanted Parsons. Yeah, but I understood when the Giants made the trade, and that was I'm sure you remember, it was crazy. Philly to Dallas making a trade. Oh,
Right?
I mean that is nuts.
We made a trade with the devil.
It's like when that happened, I remember we were on air live. We were freaking out. What? Now, so what's going to happen now? What's Giants going to do then? Right when we were saying that, it's like as if the Giants were expecting it. They traded back,
Yeah.
and that was crazy. They traded so far back because we kind of knew, we do our research and, we look at all the mock drafts and we knew that the guys that we wanted were not going to be there. And then of course, Dallas, the next pick takes Parsons. I was depressed on that one, but, listen, it all depends how the Giants do with those two picks they're getting next year's draft. If they can get, go ahead.
In terms of Tony or Smith, who did you like better out of the two?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even factor Tony in for the Giants when they got him, but Tony Smith did concern me with his size. To get to the NFL level, I was kind of worried about that, and I was worried about his separation only because, they showed his speed in the 40 as like a 4.65 or something like that, and I thought that was pretty slow. For him, he looks faster in games. He plays faster, I should say. Well, then that must have been a misprint because they always had 4.6. But I'm glad he's doing well. It's good to see kids and all these kids coming out doing well because it's a dream of theirs since they were kids, right? So it's nice to see these guys having their dreams come true and they're doing well. And Smith is doing well. He's picking it up. He's playing much better. And I think hopefully Tony will get that same opportunity. Just give him the ball. Give him enough touches to do that.
Thanks.
Yep.
And then what are the other two?
Well, we have on the defense side of the ball, of course, Ojolari. I love that pick because I think obviously he's a first-round talent. He slipped a little bit, and as I said, he's got 5.5 sacks right now. And I don't know if he'll reach double digits at the end of the year. He's got 7 games left, but I think with more playing time, he's going to make more of an impact, and it's only going to make him better. The more you play, the slower the game gets for you. Because let's face it, a lot of these rookies, they come up and they play in the NFL. The game is fast, and the more you play, it's going to slow down a little bit for you each time. So I think with him, that's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to see. And as for the third rookie, let's see, who do they really have that's played enough to warrant anything to be giddy about? Really, we have Smith has not played enough. They finally got him back on the roster. Robinson, who they took in the third round, the cornerback, they finally got him back. And I definitely want to see a lot of him. I think he is going to be a pretty good player down the road. He could play corner, and I think they're trying to think about him as a safety as well. So we'll see what happens there. But really, I don't see the third one unless I'm missing somebody for them who's really, maybe open my eyes.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question is, you guys might have a 2 top 10 picks in the draft. Who's on your radar so far with those picks?
Well, let's first of all, we need to figure out where they're going to finish. So let's assume they finish where they are now. I believe their picks at 5 and 7 right now. Mm-hmm. So right now the board, and this board can change in a heartbeat. We still got the bowl games. We still got Senior Bowl. We still got the combines, pro days. A lot of this can change, but assuming it stays like it is, I personally want to see the Giants get an edge in alignment in that first round. I think that is something they need to do. They need to build up the trenches. They got 10 picks, and I would be ecstatic if assuming they don't trade back, do package trades. If they don't make any trades, I'd be ecstatic if 7 out of the 10 are in the trenches, and I'm including the linebackers in that when I say trenches. Mm-hmm. So that would make me happy. But the players who I think will be there, who could be there, you have the kid out of Michigan who could be there, Hutchinson, Aiden Hutchinson. He could be there. Depends how the draft falls in front of us. We got some linemen who I think will be there, like Lyndon Bob out of Iowa, the tough center. And you got the kid Green out of Texas A&M, Kenyon Green. I think he'll be someone to take note because I think he plays tackle right now, but they're probably going to transition him to guard. I think he's something that the Giants can use. You got the kid out of NC State, Ikuwa, his name is. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But he's another one that's moving up the charts in the draft boards. And you have the kid out of Texas A&M, DeMarvin Lil, who is he kind of reminds me of Simon Fletcher. He really does. He's a big guy. He could play anywhere on the defensive line. Can rush the passer, can clog in the running lanes. So there's another guy who I like to see them get, who if he's available in the first round.
Is it Quincy Roach isn't impressed? Not impressed?
Quincy Roche, am I not impressed with him? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, that's what he's asking.
Oh, well, listen, he had a pretty good game. He had a pretty good game against the Raiders, and he did pretty well in the last game, even though it doesn't show on the results of the 30-10 loss. I don't know if he's a starter per se. I think the Giants probably need to look to get somebody on the other side, maybe with Ojulari on one side and the other guy on the other side, and let Roach be the depth guy, third man in. I don't see him as a bona fide starter, so to speak. But listen, for a waiver pickup, that's a pretty good pickup. I'll take it. Nice.
So give me 3 keys to victory for the Giants to beat the Eagles this weekend.
Okay, listen. You're a football guy. You know this stuff. It all starts in the trenches, okay? 99% of football games are won in the trenches. It opens so many different things up for you. All right? We talked about it earlier. The Giants got to somehow figure out, they're not going to stop it, but they got to figure out how to control them or cut down the running game of the Eagles. They can't have the Eagles running for, what they've been doing the last few weeks. If they do, it's going to be over by halftime. Okay, yeah. So right there, and that includes Hurts. They gotta keep him in the pocket. Don't let him run. Don't let him out, and let him, because when he does that, really it just opens up so many other things for the Eagles, and it just makes it harder for the defense. Another thing I see, the Giants are horrible in this, and this has been their problem all year long, It's two areas. It's the red zone and third down conversions. They are pathetic. And as the stats show, the Giants are in the bottom. They're dead last in the red zone. And then the third down conversions are almost last. They're like, I think they're 28th. Now, the Eagles, on the other hand, are ranked 6th and 4th in those categories, respectively, which tells me that they're scoring touchdowns, not kicking field goals, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big problem for the Giants, and the Giants have to somehow figure out a way to make these Eagles, because they're not going to keep them out of the red zone. They'll get in the red zone, the Eagles will, but they got to keep them from getting touchdowns. If they let them get too many, if they let them get at least 2 touchdowns in the red zone, they're going to be in trouble, the Giants, because the Giants would be lucky if they get 1 touchdown out of the red zone if this coming week. So I think the 3 areas are red zone, third down conversions, because when you have third down conversions, you keep the ball, you have the time of possession, you have better scoring chances, and the running game. I think the Giants need to somehow slow that down if they have a shot.
Okay. Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
Well, traditionally,
or do you think one side of it might be high?
No, I hope not, man. Hey, listen, anything can happen on any given Sunday, right?
Right.
I'm gonna go. I'm a history guy, and I'm gonna go with the last few games these teams play. They're very competitive, and I think even though the Eagles are rising, they're soaring, and the Giants are kind of spiraling downhill. I still think the emotion of this game, the Giants are gonna come out ready to play. You got Michael Strahan Day, so that's gonna motivate them. You know, Strahan's he's gonna give him a speech, man. He's gonna give him a speech, right? So the first part of this game is vital for the Giants. Over and under, I would say under 50 if I'm gonna make a bet. After this show, I will have my article out. I'll put it out with my prediction. But that's where I'm going, over and under 50. With under 50, and I think it's going to be a close game. Do you want me to tell you who I think is going to win?
Yeah, I guess if you're not going to give me the score prediction, if you want to say that for your show, I was going to ask you next. What's your score prediction?
Well, yeah, I'm going to save it. I do think it's going to be close. I don't see just a field goal. I think it's going to be a little more than that. But I think the Giants haven't proven to me that they can win close games. The Giants haven't proven to you that they can make the plays when they have to. So in the preseason, I had the Giants win this game. I really did, especially being at home. But right now, because of the way the momentum has changed with the Eagles playing so well the last few weeks, the Giants haven't. I'm swaying towards the Eagles in this game, unfortunately.
Okay, we like to hear that. Okay, cool.
I got to keep it real. I got to keep it real.
I like it. Okay, well, we're about almost up to an hour here. I like to do a thing called all-time team. It's your favorite team since you've been a Giants fan. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about no wrong answers. This is your team. So even if you like a bench warmer, but that was your guy, you go ahead and put him on this list. It'd be pretty simple. We go through it. It usually takes about 5-10 minutes. So we get it started here. Give me your favorite quarterback and who will be backing them up.
Well, of course, I think 99% it's going to be Eli Manning. Eli Manning, he did everything the Giants ever asked him to do. He did it for them. My backup quarterback, and that's a tough one. Remember, I'm a lot older than you are. My first Giant game was 1968. I was a kid watching my dad. Yep, I was a 9-year-old kid watching it with my dad.
He's like 9 at 68. So
I was 9 years old.
Good for your age, my guy. You got it. he's like I'm 9 and 68. I'm like, whoa.
I'm 62. Figure it out. I'm 62. Yeah. So I watched it, and my dad was an avid football fan. So I used to watch them back then. I used to love watching Van Tarkenton play. I really did. But I'm going to go with Phil Simms as my backup because he did win 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, and he had balls of steel. He really did. Yeah. Phil Simms. He was such a tough guy. So those are my 2 quarterbacks.
Who'll be 3 running backs?
Three running backs. All right. Again, I go back a long ways, but even though he's not a favorite of mine because of his off the field things he's done, Tiki Barber has to
Barber.
be up there. He has to be up there. You know, he holds the record, rushing records for yardage. I would put Brandon Jacobs there.
Yeah, I like Jacob.
Yep, he had the most touchdowns for any Giant as a running back only for the Giants. And then that's a tough one. The second guy, I see all the names that somebody's helping me, but I'll tell you what, I love Otis Anderson there, but he didn't play it long enough for the Giants, and he was at the end of his career. I'll probably say Rodney Hampton because that guy was electric when he played with the Giants, and unfortunately he got hurt. That kind of curtailed his career as well. But probably those three: Barber, Jacobs, and Hampton.
You got a fullback?
Oh, Joe Morris was something else. So what another great player. Wow. Well, fullback, which is a dying breed now, but Maurice Carthen, I would think would be my guy because you know he was a blue collar guy that did what he was asked to just block. That's all he did was block, and he did it with such passion, and and he was just some great Giants teams. So I'll go with him.
Okay, give me two tight ends.
Two tight ends. Let's see, two tight ends. Yeah, I see someone putting down Frank Gifford. I wasn't alive when he played, so I can't say him. Two tight ends. That's an easy one. That's Pavaro and Shockey. Pavaro was my man. When I was younger, he was my man. I loved the way he played. He kept his mouth shut, and he just played football. I mean, what more can you want from a guy? Gave everything he had in the field. Those were my two guys. And Shockey could have been the best tight end ever, if he could have just kept his head on straight. And too bad he never got like Pavaro to show him away because Shockey had the best talent of any Giant tight end ever.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Shockey was a beast. Absolutely.
Yeah. I gotta agree with that.
Pavaro's my man.
Give me four receivers.
Wide receivers? Am I counting slot in that or no?
Slot, yeah. Either slot, inside, outside receivers. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, Amani Toomey has to get my first pick because he had the longevity and the numbers and my respect as a Giant. He's number one. He's in my number one book. Number two, Odell Beckham was pretty darn good when he was here.
LBJ?
Yeah.
That's the last time you really seen him be good, really.
That's right. That's right. After he left Eli, what happened, right?
Giants.
That's true. Now we're getting into some tough ones here because I have three guys here. I have Hakeem Nicks, who I love because he was a tough guy. You had Cruz, and there's a guy here that I don't know if you know him. He's a little older, maybe before your time. His name was Homer Jones. Okay, Homer Jones.
Before my time.
Yeah, Homer Jones. That's all right. He played on some bad Giant teams, and a guy averaged 22 yards a catch for his career.
Oh, wow.
22 yards a catch for his career, which is phenomenal if you think about it.
Yeah, that is great.
And he doesn't get the respect. I saw him play. Remember, I was young. I didn't have the knowledge I have now to really appreciate it, but he was something. But I'll have to go with – I'm going to put him in that. I'm sorry if people get mad at me. I'm putting Homer Jones in there. And I was going to put Plaxico in there, but he didn't play long enough with the Giants. So I'm going to say Victor Cruz because he was just so electric. And
Victor was nice.
He was just something when he came on the scene. It just was like,
salsa dancing.
And he was an unsigned free agent. And anytime he touched the ball, anything can happen. So I would, unfortunately, Knicks has to be kicked out, but I still think I got four pretty good players there.
Nice. Who will be on that starting offensive line?
Okay, let's see. The guys I've seen. So you're going to have tackles. We'll start with tackles. I'm going to put Jumbo Elliott there. I'm going to put David Deal. That guy was something else. Another guy, 5th round pick that just did anything you wanted until he finally got cemented in that tackle position. Guards, of course, Chris Snead was probably the best guard ever in Giant history.
Yeah.
And I see you guys putting the list up there. And you know what? The Giants never had a long history of of uh, of guards, but the guy I love the best was Rick Serbert. Serbert. I love that guy. Another guy undrafted who just played 130% and gave the Giants everything he had. And unfortunately, he did. Another guy with an injury that probably shortened his career a little bit. But and now for center, you have two guys who I'm going to toss up. I mean, great plays here, Bart Oates and Sean O'Hara. Man,
Ooh.
those two are great players, man. Who do you pick over those two? I think Oates was a 5-time Pro Bowler. Sean O'Hara, of course, 2-time Super Bowl, I believe.
Yeah.
With the Giants, he was a 3-time Super Bowl, I believe. He went somewhere else and won the Super Bowl. I think he did, or someone did. Maybe Bart's did.
Didn't he go with Peyton
I don't know.
and the
Did he go
Colts?
with, I don't know. I'll be
Maybe
honest
I'm
with you. I don't
tripping.
know where he went, but I'm gonna just go with Bart Oates because he was on some great teams and he had a little more personal, more achievements than Sean O'Hara did. So I'll say Bart Oates.
Okay. Your defensive line.
Am I doing
And I
four?
always say do it in a 4-3 base
I was just
because
gonna
I
ask you
always say
fourth
3
thing.
linebackers. So
I got
maybe
you.
4.
Okay, the ends are easy. I mean, you're going to have Strahan, and I'm picking because of longevity with the Giants. I'm putting Leonard Marshall there. He's going to edge out Pierre Paul, and OC was a little more of a pass rusher than a full overall run stuffer. My tackles, I'm going to put. And this guy played all over, but he also played tackle. I'm putting Justin Tuck. I'm going to put probably Keith Hamilton. He had a pretty career with the Giants. You know, he was not known when he came out of college. I think I forgot who was in college with him that got a lot of the ink. What defensive lineman? But yeah, Keith Hamilton would be my guy. Him and Tuck for tackle.
Not give me your 3 linebackers. That should be an easy one.
Well, you may be shocked with one. Okay, I'm going to go with, of course, LT and Carson.
Obviously.
Okay, now for the other side, this was tough because when you asked me that, I've been thinking about the last few minutes. There are two guys there, and they both went to the same college. Okay, Michigan State. All right, one I know is going to be Carl Banks.
Yeah.
The other one was Brad Van Pelt. Brad Van Pelt was a phenomenal outside linebacker for the Giants who played on some lousy teams. Carl Banks was such a great player on a great team, and he played with some great linebackers. And you almost forget about him, but you know he did all the things that the little things that if you really watch the game, you appreciate. The average person wouldn't appreciate how great he was. I mean, you couldn't block him again on a run. You couldn't block him.
He was done.
You're a Philly guy, and you know all those games how phenomenal he was. And and now I'm saying this, I'm going to change my guy. I was going to have Van Pelt, but I'm going to go with Banks because you know what, that guy did everything for the Giants, and he never complained. He was such a great warrior. So yeah, those are my 3 linebackers.
It was Banks, LT,
and Harry Carson in the middle.
Carson. Yeah. Give me 3 cornerbacks.
3 corners. Okay, one is easy. Mark Haynes. He was probably the best coverage guy the Giants ever had at cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
3. Let's see. I'm going to go with. He didn't play a lot with them, but he was pretty phenomenal. He played with them. DRC. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with him because he really was electric, and he really was a really what do you call those guys? He would really shut down. Yeah, ball hawk and shut down the receiver. And the other guy I'm going to go with, it was a guy who was a really phenomenal athlete. Jason Sehorn was a phenomenal athlete, and he had pretty good years with the Giants. And then, Jim Foster had a stupid idea of making him a punt returner, and then he got injured, and that really derailed his career. So, but those are my three guys, and I see a couple of guys that were pretty good, but I think the three guys I picked were much better. So I'm going to
Nice.
go with Haynes, DRC, and Seahorn.
All right, give me three safeties.
Three safeties. Wow. Okay, I'm going to give you one from the past. Guy from the past that many people didn't like. He had a great nickname. His name was Carl Lockhart, better known as Spider Lockhart. That guy was a safety. That guy was a phenomenal safety. He was ball hawker. Again, played on a lot of giant bad teams, but he was a pretty darn good player. Then I'm going to go with Landon Collins, should be up there. He did do really well as a Giant. Really hasn't done much, or maybe I'm not following him, but he hasn't done much like he did with the Giants with Washington. And I'm going to go with Antro Roll. I think he was a pretty good Giant during my time watching the Giants play. So those are my three.
Okay, who's going to be your kicker, your punter, and then give me your special teams ace?
All right, kicker, you gotta go with success, and you gotta go with somebody in big games, and you gotta go with Lawrence Tynes because he kicked the Giants into the Super Bowl. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, so I would put him in there. He doesn't have the Giant stats, I think, obviously as a kicker because of his longevity, but he was there long enough in my mind to be put up there. Look at this guy putting down. He played in the 70s too, so I remember him, Spider. And punter, I'm going to go with Sean Landeta. Sean Landeta was a very good Giant. Played 12 years with them, matter of fact, so he was a pretty good player. And I think he has some Giants records in punts, so in the longest punts. So I got him. And special teams, I mean, I don't need to read it. It's obvious. Dave Meggett. Dave Meggett was phenomenal. And you know the story behind Dave Meggett? I don't know if you know this. The story behind Dave Meggett was he went to Townsend State college. And Amara, one of the Maras went there as a college kid. And the Giants weren't even scouting, didn't even scout Townsend. No scouts went there. And he told his dad, you gotta look at this guy who plays on a football team. He's phenomenal. He's not big, but no one could tackle him. So they sent the guy out there, and the reports came back big. And then, lo and behold, the Giants drafted Dave Meggett. So that's how he became a Giant.
Nice. Hey, that's good. That's a good way to get him.
That's right.
Who will be your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, and your head coach?
Okay. Well, listen, I got to go with. I know with Belichick, he's probably the all-time greatest head coach of all time, Hall of Famer, but he wasn't a Giant head coach. So I got to put him as my defensive coordinator.
That's a good move.
Yeah, and Bill Parcells gets the edge because he really took over a Giant team that was in disarray when Perkins left suddenly went to Alabama. And he was given that job, and really nobody wanted him to have it. Thank God social media wasn't around back then because Bill Parcells would have been hammered.
Right.
But he did a great job, and he's my head coach of all time. And let me tell you something. Kevin Gilbert was pretty darn good. But you know what? They had a guy, Bill, I think his name is Bill Earhart, who was the OC for Bill Parcells. He was pretty darn good too. So I'm going to go with him.
Nice. Hey, that's a good team, man. Even with that defense, when you said Strahan and LT on the same side, that's enough right there.
Can you imagine that?
Story. Good night. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that was a great team, man. Thanks again for coming on the show. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at all your social media platforms.
Well, you can find me on NYGiants Rush. We have a great crew of guys who do some great articles. You also find me on Twitter at The Truth NYG. I love to go on there and talk to you guys, and we keep it friendly, even if we disagree. But hopefully get you on our show. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking to you. What's his name again? The owner?
Craig.
Greg. Yeah, I talked to Craig. We're gonna be doing some work together, like I said, with the network. We're gonna probably get you guys a nice little spot on the network too. So we're
Oh,
working
that's
on that
great.
right now. So you guys will be on the BGN Sports Media. You guys will be seeing a lot more of these guys. So we're definitely working on that right now. So we definitely gonna be talking and working together as the season goes on and in the off season and whatnot. So yeah, thank everybody for being here today. We got 16 in the chat. Please like and subscribe to all channels, to the NY Giant Rush, Bird Game 31, and BGN Sports Media. Thank you guys a lot for supporting us. And we're on our way out now. We're gonna have a great game. Go Birds, fly Eagles,
Oh.
fly. Until next time, we out. Peace.
See ya.